You as a from the northern, with the suffering we are suffering, you still want to return to Tinubu. It's a shame to the northern. No road to a community where you come from Gombe, I come from Bauchi. There is no road from here to Akonga, Bauchi, Dos. You have to Gombe, have to Adama, no road. So what is the happiness that you don't want you don't want Atiku to come, you want to because you are a coward. If you die, you will die. Because already that thing has done. You are a thief. Tinubu is not coming by which, whether you like it or not, is going. 2027 is going.
It appears as though the man Tinubu knows the game very well. Of course, exactly the game they played against Goodluck Jonathan is a game they are currently trying to play with the man Tinubu. Because we understand that it took insecurity for the North to demarcate Jonathan. And every effort of Jonathan to fight insecurity was diplomatically resisted by Northerners. Because looking at what came from even a former House of Assembly member from Borno State, laid credence to the fact that the North actually wanted Jonathan out and they used insecurity to achieve that. And if you even look at what came from Kawu Baraji recently, that it is even the Northerners themselves, that brought these bandits from neighboring African countries to remove a Jonathan from office. And as we have it, Tinubu have changed strategy because you have seen that if care is not taken, these same elements will use this same insecurity to demarcate his government, to bring the government down. Because I think for Northerners, or rather those who orchestrate this, it is very easy for them to use insecurity as an excuse to demarcate any president that is in power. So I think that must explain the reason we are seeing different strategies coming up recently, seeing that even the president have even currently given nod to even state police. We saw the energy with which even Mahmuda bandit leaders were arrested. We are seeing success in different areas, seeing the president coming out boldly to say he is going to establish state police. But again, I think ultimately it is for the overall interest and good of everyone once the security of lives and property is guaranteed. Because one thing is certain, that this insecurity that was hitherto before now restricted to the northern part of the country is already having its roots in the southern part of the country. So that is why every Nigerian, particularly the patriotic ones, must queue behind federal government to see that we see an end to this. Because those who benefit from the insecurity, those who brought those bandits into Nigeria, they will not rest. They will continue to do one or two things to ensure that they sabotage the effort of government in trying to end this issue of insecurity. If someone like Shegumi could come up boldly, even before the election of 2023, to even tell his followers that they should not vote for any candidate that will acquire more weapons to fight bandits. You begin to wonder, it's all over the media how he canvassed all of that before the election. And again, this is someone who even recently accused federal government that we have Mossad agents in Nigeria and that they will be targeting Muslims. Like I said the other day, I do not have the intelligence to know whether we have Mossad agents in Nigeria. But the question is, if for any reason we have Mossad agents in Nigeria, and that is perhaps the reason we are seeing success in the fight against insurgency, fight against terrorism, sequel to the arrest of 2 bandit leaders, I must say it's a welcome development, and that the government should continue in that trajectory. Because the same way the North derailed Jonathan, the same way they use security to bring down his government, that is what they are still trying to do. But I think the man Tinubu is smarter than them, because we can clearly see that he is starting very early before they will bring down his government. Because normally once it's close to the election and there's no time to do all the work of fighting the insurgency, it becomes a problem for his government. Because I remember that even as Jonathan brought in missionaries towards the election of 2015, it was late, even though his government recorded significant success in the fight, or rather decimating the terrorism or terrorists, but the damage has been done. I think that is what Tinubu is avoiding, because we can clearly see that the current government is very serious to fight this insecurity. Even seeing that the government have even gone ahead to acquire 50 fighter jets that will in anytime soon arrive the country. I must say that it's a welcome development because we continue to see success on the part of the military. And again, what gladdens the heart of every patriotic Nigerian is that the locals are already owning the security. And that the government, even currently, is recognizing that the locals should play a pivotal role. Because we cannot forget in a hurry the success that came from Delta State in Abraka, to be precise, where the locals obviously synergized with the police, and a handful of the terrorists, bandits were arrested. We equally saw the one that came from Owashuku in the same Delta State. And even in the same Delta State, we saw a recent development where a local person led the military personnel into the bushes, into the forest to crack down bandits. And even for now, that same particular individual led the military to confront bandits, and ransom was recovered. Bandits disallowed. So the important thing is that wherever the success is coming from is welcome development, whether on the part of the police, on the part of DSS, on the part of the locals. But the important thing is that there must be synergy. There must be symbiotic relationship, because the issue of insecurity, or rather fighting it, demands for all hands to be on deck. And as we have it, good thing, the issue of forest guard is already taking its route. And even Mr. President mentioned it recently, that the forest guard will be empowered to do the job. But again, I think this laid credence to the position of the Director General of DSS, talking about Ajayi, who was emphatic recently that, of course, the locals, the communities should be strengthened, should be empowered to be the first line of defense in case of invasion and in case of the type of insecurity we are witnessing. I think that may have even shaped the mind of the president in the direction we are seeing. But the ultimate thing is that we are achieving results. And I want to believe that that trajectory should continue. And the government should not listen to any opinion that seeks to demoralize the people, particularly the military personnel who are in the field. Because it makes no sense see someone like Sheikh Gumi saying that federal government should stop kinetic approach, that they should adopt non-kinetic approach. And these are people who obviously have no value for human life. You can clearly see that in their operation, who disallow people at will, who will go and kidnap people without provocation, demand for ransom, and those who cannot pay ransom are disallowed. So that is why I personally advise the government, whether the federal government, whether the respective state government, that henceforth, going forward, they should not negotiate with any bandit leader or any bandit group. The best the government could do is to go ahead to acquire monopoly of coercive power to police every inch of Nigerian territorial integrity. Good thing, even the South State governor made it very clear recently that they have already acquired technology, equipments, and all of that, which they already installed, which he can even seamlessly use to monitor the movement and location of bandits. So the only challenge currently, according to him, is the command and control of the security architecture. And that brings us to the current situation where the president have agreed that the security arrangement should be rejected and that there is every need to create state police. But meanwhile, before the state police come on board, we understand that the forest guard has already taken root, because all the state governments have been advised, or directed rather, to start recruiting personnel in that regard. And I understand that the presidency, or rather from the office of the president, have asked the state government to continue recruiting, and that they should recruit between 2,000 and 5,000 personnel, depending on their financial capacity. I must say it was a welcome development, because it has been established that all crime is local, and that all the intelligence that needed to crack down the bandits rests with the local. So if that is the case, then it's a welcome development. It makes sense to see that the locals are already being integrated into all of this. Because I saw a town hall meeting talking about the one that happens in Enugu side, I think Nsukka to be precise, where the forest guard were already sitting, having conversation on how to move in for operation. And we hope to start seeing a replica of that in every state. Because except for some states where the insecurity occasioned by Fulani militias is not too high.
We urge Nigerians to disregard them and their diabolical scripts because it contains many inaccuracies that misrepresent national interest and unity. But it is a deliberate attempt by some mischievous individuals who seek the opportunity to politicize national security matters.
Again, I want to say that it is high time almost all the states should start enacting anti-open grazing laws. Because that in a way help the security arrangement at the local level to do their job efficiently. Because we have seen instances where crime and criminality is linked to cattle rearing. So if everybody is asked to ranch his or her cow, it will be understandable that no cow or rather header will be seen roaming the street. And once that happens, if they see you are roaming the street, of course, the law would have captured the penalty and the sanction that goes with it, and the person, or rather the header, will be made to pay when the person is dragged to court. So I think that is the way to go. Because I understand that even in the past, we have instances where, when the case of Ekiti State and Benue State, of course, they enacted law prohibiting open grazing. So I want to say that other states should start emulating that. Let us start seeing anti-open grazing laws enacted by state houses of assembly, so that once the forest guards start moving around, start taking route, it will be easier for them to know who is moving illegally and who has the permission to move around. Because I must say that life is sacrosanct, and that the government should do everything it takes, which is their power, to protect lives and property. More so, as the Constitution is very clear on that, particularly Section 14, Section 2B of 1999 Constitution as amended, that says that the welfare of the people and their security shall be the primary purpose of governance. So to that extent, the government must do everything within their power to protect lives and property. Because whether the president, whether the governors, whether the local government chairman, at their different capacities, they have all sworn an oath to protect lives and property. And that they must do without excuse. Because I understand the lamentation of the governor of Zamfara State, who, of course, said in spite of the intelligence gathering that he cannot command the security architecture. And, of course, that is a very big challenge. And again, someone like Toji Bello, someone like Adaleru, particularly Adaleru, who have a bounty of 5 million on his head, I want to say that the security agencies should make haste to arrest him, prosecute him, to act as deterrent to others. I understand that when it comes to Toji Bello, the military have made it very clear that his cousin, who doubles as his operational commander, have been neutralized in the battlefield. I want to say that the same fate should befall even Toji Bello himself. The one thing is certain. It's either he's arrested and prosecuted to act as deterrent to others, or he's neutralized in the battlefield, whichever one comes first. But the ultimate thing is that the Nigerian government, the Nigerian armed forces, must acquire monopoly of currency power to do the needful. Because without that, all these bandits will be wreaking havoc. And come to think of it, even the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, made it very clear that most of these bandits come from other parts of the world, like Burkina Faso, Libya, Niger, and all of that. And you have someone here in Nigeria advocating for amnesty for them. You begin to wonder, will people now be converging here in Nigeria from different parts of the world and be seeking amnesty?
Welcome back, my people. I know you must have listened to what these people here have said concerning northern people. Though northern people are people who don't have shame for their self, because the same agenda they are using now is the same agenda and the same pattern. They used to take Goodluck Kebele Jonathan out during his time. You know that when Goodluck was there, they used this insecurity pattern to take him out. Many of us who understand how politics is played knows the game then. We know how they did all this, but when we are telling our guys then, they never believe. They don't want to believe. They never trusted. But see what they are facing today. Now that everyone are now facing the issue, they are not believing what we have told them before. If you carefully know how Northerners play their game, you will know that they don't have any good plan or any plan for this country. The only good plan they have for this country is for power to remain in their own side. Because from the little things that this man that you are seeing here has said, you will know that these people plan is not just to come to power. It's like their plan is to come to power for them to have this opportunity for all these their Fulani guys. Because if they are in power, all these Fulani guys will have that freedom and everything to be doing whatever thing they like. That is what they have been fighting and keep fighting in for. But many Southerners that we have, they don't have, I don't want to say they don't have sense, because that one may be insult or another thing to them. So let me not use that strong word for them. But they don't have that idea or on how to play this game. It's only Tinubu that knows how to play that game well, and we like him the way he's doing them. If to say he had given all this guy an opportunity, you guys would have seen how this guy would have used that opportunity to ruin this country, but he never give them that opportunity. That is so make Q that is even hearing us now, being there to hear us. If not, therefore don't buy everybody now. We get to talk. And for you, will be okay the years now. If you have anything to say concerning this, you drop your own thought for inside comment section. And also, if this is your first time, kindly like, share, subscribe. Thank you.